Hey, Kliq This fans, want to get closer to the show than ever? Join Kliq This TV. Kliq This TV offers early commercial-free access to wrestling's hottest podcast, plus live audience tapings of their show every friggin' week. Head to KliqThisTV.com now and get inside the show that's just too sweet.
The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
Jam is too climactic to always open to my tepid face, bopping my head. I feel like we should run through the curtain to something explosive, come on stage like fucking Kiss or something when we come out. But here we are. Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast. He's Kevin. I'm Sean. And listen, this week's show is a testament to two guys' commitment to giving listeners and viewers new content every week. Kevin, if anyone doesn't know already, we talked about a hurricane 2 weeks ago, seemingly, and here we are again. And it's been a friggin' week, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's what you... And the other thing is this is the second storm we've had since T passed. And the last one was, we lost, I think, 11 homes on the ocean that fell in. And this one was by far a bigger wind situation. But because it wasn't coming directly towards us, it wasn't the erosion problem that the other ones were.
Oh, that's interesting. So the beachfront,
either
on
that
the East Coast.
Either that or everybody has their Hurricane Sandy wall put in now. So it's like, because I but there's not, there were some people at the beach walkover today, and you could tell because they were lobster red, so they had been out there a couple hours and didn't realize that the UV is still around 9 right now down here. And I just was standing on the top of the steps looking down, and the lady looked at me. She goes, "Do you want to come down here?" I said, "No." I said, you're sitting out there during high tides. You know that, right? They're like, "Yeah, we had to move into this enclave." I said, "Yeah." I said, "But there's no dunes." I said, "When high tide comes, the water comes to everyone's wall, and they're just, and there's so much seaweed." I was just like, "God, you really must have, would you guys drive from, Sheboygan, Michigan?"
There it is.
And made that we're doing this. We're getting some sun.
Wally World. Wally World.
Hold on there. Just a minute.
If you saw John Candy out on the beach, there's more wrong with just the partiers. So Kev, what day did this touch?
Wednesday. It hit Wednesday. It hit like Tampa, St. Pete, Fort Myers, Venice. I don't want to leave anybody out, but that coastal region down there, Bradenton, Port Charlotte, they all got fucking rocked. But not clear. Like Hulk got hit pretty, he got hit rough the last storm, and he said that this one here wasn't it didn't add insult to injury. It was kind of,
it didn't. Okay.
No. But then again, he took such a direct hit the last storm
Because all the projections when I saw before it had come in, I mean, it was Hulk's in Clearwater, right? So, I mean, that was coming right for Tampa, Clearwater. Yeah. Well, that's good then, at least. And then it was wind and rain mostly for the first overnight, right?
Well, we got Thursday morning at around 1:00 in the morning is when we start getting gusts about probably high 80s, like 88. I have an app, and anybody that lives in the hurricane zone or lives in actually a storm area, they have an app. It's called Windy, WINDY, capital W. And if you pull it up, it's orange with a white W. And if you pull that up and you open the app up, like for me, like it'll come to Florida, and then there's like a bullseye, and you can move the map to get underneath the bullseye. So I take it and I put it right on Ponce Inlet. And so then that way, when they're telling you that you're going to get this and get that, like the last storm, the Weather Channel was telling me I was going to get 45-mile-an-hour gusts at this certain time. And I said, and I was just, you've been down here long enough, like you can look out at your palm trees and tell that that's not 45 miles an hour. So I looked at the Windy app and it said 17 miles an hour. 17 miles an hour is like every day off the ocean. Mm-hmm. So I walked outside and I was just like, this is such bullshit. So I could feel like, I could hear you've got your hurricane shutters down, which I think is probably the worst thing is once you commit to putting like the really large hurricane shutters are all run by electricity. They're just too big to wind up and down by hand. And so once you make the commitment to put those down, now you've got a few small old school hand crank ones that you keep. And we have one up in the upstairs office that looks right over the beach walkover. So I can see if there was going to be a storm surge, it would come up between those steps. So I've got a good view of that. Except at nighttime, when there's absolutely no lights anywhere, it's pitch. It's like being in a cave or something. But I could just tell, and I looked, and it was like around 1:00. It was like 80, 85 mile an hour gusts, and then it got up to like 101, 103 at about 4 in the morning, and that's when I thought like, and all you want, man, is like, you just don't want that. Like, I'll fix my PVC fence got splintered. Some of the trim on my aluminum roof got fucking, some of the trim pieces. It looks like the cap got some wind underneath it. But my whole problem now is we've got another storm in the chute. So I'm not going to call, because I've got a 35-foot gable on the top of my house. So you've got to bring. It's not an easy job to fix the peak of my house because it's 35 feet off the ground, and it's like it's almost like a chalet. It's like a straight. So
was that the peak 103? You said
yeah. The one that like from the Weather Channel or the weather station, which is actually down south of me. It's a Coast Guard. I think they got a 99 wind gust. But from my app, from where I was at, which was probably 7 miles north of that, I was getting on that Windy app, I was getting 101, 103s.
Did you put your furniture in the pool or in the garage? What do you
my Cadillac, I took down to the mechanic, and he's working on it. So he just told me, that he was going to put it on a lift and raise it, so I wasn't worried about it getting any damage.
That's good.
And he's off the beaten. He's closer to 95 than he is the ocean.
Okay.
He's probably a mile off of 95. So I knew he'd be cool. That would be cool. The Bronco was here underneath the condo, so we just had the Mercedes, the Jeep, and my Mustang at my house. And but I mean, we've got Hurricane garage doors that you got a big beam that you set in the middle of it that hooks into the floor and into the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, our house is built. It's just
It's hard to watch, man. I was watching some of that footage, and it was like, first time I texted you, I was looking at some reports, and admittedly, it was more toward the west. But I was like, "How's it going?" You were like, so far, just it hadn't been that bad. I guess it was late Wednesday night. I was like, "Oh, all right."
Yeah, we still had power.
Yeah, right.
We lost power, I think like 11:30 it came back on. And we got this, so, and the thing is too, man, like, so when you have a smart, those smart TVs, mine's hooked to a whole system. So it's got to go boom, and then it comes up, it says Android, then it's got to go to system check, then it's got to recalculate, then, it's like a 2-minute process every time the power goes out.
And props to you for setting that entire network up yourself. I mean, well done.
Well, I mean,
I
absolutely.
give you a lot of credit.
Absolutely. All I know how to do is run the brain. That's all that matters. I don't need to I don't need to know how a combustion engine works. I can get it towed.
Gas, brake.
That's
good,
it, man.
wheel.
I'm good.
But it was so hard to watch, Kev. I almost wanted to put a bag over my head.
Yeah, that's going around.
I hear, and wouldn't you know, we talked about it and shit on it last week, and it appears again, Kevin. I have a feeling your influence goes far beyond what you're aware of.
Well, my whole thing is, like, is this autoerotic
asphyxiation? Is that what?
Yeah, like, because it looks to me like, instead of pulling the bag off of his head, it looks like he's like snugging the bag on his head.
Yeah, the top shot there looks like Brian Danielson. Nobody knows what we're talking about last night's AEW show. Yeah, it does look like he's grabbing at the one area that would not help me breathe unless I was able to move his hands. But he doesn't look like he's going for the hands. It's just like
but why wouldn't you just? It's not. I mean, it's a plastic bag. Why wouldn't you be pulling it the other way over your chin?
Yeah, or maybe just stick your fingers in and rip it open, like when they tie it at the Chinese restaurant. I may say, Chinese,
this is always has always gotten heat in movies when the guy is like John Wick, when he's bound in a chair with his hands behind his back.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have the use. If you have the use of your hands, and I maybe AEW doesn't, like, they're not cinema based. I don't know. But I mean, it's this. This is, like I said earlier, like last week. This is just bad enough for your 8 and 6-year-old kids to fucking get this idea, since it seems to be absolutely okay, because they do it weekly now. It's their new go-to spot. I get it, man. I mean, I guess at this point people do yell boring if you go for the rear chin. So fucking you gotta pick shit up.
Go for the rear bag now.
Yeah, the rear bag spot. Hey, man, what the fuck? What? I just watched your match. You used the bag. Well, we were going to use the bag, so use the bag. All right, we will.
But it's a deliberate thing, right? Because it got so much heat, and I don't mean not good heat. It got such criticism, let's say, last time, not just on your show, but on all over the place.
It's almost
being
I'll
bridge too
show
far.
I'll show you.
I was just going to say, so,
You know,
yeah.
it's almost an I'll show you, and then the crowd reaction is no, we'll show you with a .1. So, seems to be working. You know, and you know they continue to.
It's a good thing no one saw it.
I'm just hoping that they go public, because I've heard that their profits, I mean, this is like Shiba or one of those other fucking, you know, cryptocurrencies. Like, you got to get, yeah, it's pennies right now, but boy, if you put some money into it.
Kevin is, of course, referring to a tweet that I read from Meltzer. It said, with a conservative model factoring in no new international deals, and we've already seen a new one yesterday, and no additional TV deals, AEW next year will become more profitable than the entirety of WCW's 13 years combined, than WWF from 90 to 98, and WWF every year from 2011 to 2017. Now, he doesn't mean combined. He can't mean combined, right? He means year over year. Or did he just add up everything between for the 13 years of WCW and the end result, because it was leaking money?
What was it that Meltzer said when I made a comment? He says, "I like Kevin." So
he did say that he likes him.
I like Dave, but Dave, you're full of shit. I mean, there's just no way that you can. If they do anything, like, the first thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to, again, run bigger buildings. You're going to have to paper the fuck out of them. You've got to bring your production quality up. Your production quality is horrible. You've got to bring in some actual seamstress type people that, you know, that you've got to make your product look. Everybody can't wear a fucking luchador mask, including your announcers. And then you also cannot do Cirque du Soleil high spots and then stop in some kind of a Dragon Ball Z power fist on fist moment there. I guess they're going for more of the anime
the manga
crowd.
market.
Yeah, it's that's kind of where they're going.
So to drill down into this, Dave covers this.
But then again, I'm like Kobe Bryant.
In what way?
I'm just like Kobe Bryant. Just like him. And right now, Haku's laughing.
Oh. So. Major week. But the thing is, Kevin, is the word profitable, right? And the figures for anything WWE related now is easy to access because it's a public company. But you need expenses to be factored in against your revenue to gauge profit.
And on top of that, though, it's like Dave has to make reference to the fact of it's well known that when WCW was at its most profitable, it was also fucking basically being hammered financially by the infrastructure to make sure that it was it showed less
in Time
profitability,
Warner, in the whole
yeah. So like I said, like Turner Home Entertainment got the pay-per-view revenue. I mean, all these different. So you can't even make that statement because without addressing the fact of those numbers are skewed. So.
The reporting on those Time Warner numbers. And then he said WWE from, 90 to 98. Now, of course, you can firsthand talk about what WWE was like in 92, 93.
So the numbers I saw were, it was like, so this is how many year deal is this? Is it 3?
Yeah, the 3-year deal for AEW you're talking about?
So wait, what is it, like 100 and what does it come
comes
out
to 555. It's 180 first year, 185 second year, 190 third year.
All right. And they're bleeding what, 60 a year right now? Or 30 a year?
I mean, whatever it is now. What if The Rock comes over there next year for 20 mil? Last year's
that's
is
never going to
irrelevant.
happen. Rock is
whoever loses his mind.
I'm just saying though, The Rock is on the board. He ain't going nowhere.
No, I'm saying if somebody loses their mind and goes over there and takes an exorbitant amount of money, and
well, they're not going to pay somebody $40 million.
But you what 20 to 15 million, whatever it is, you can't.
It doesn't
project
matter
expenses because you don't know what Tony Khan's going to do.
If you have like, let's just hypothetically, say you also owned an NFL team, okay, and they were so fucking rotten, okay, they were so rotten that, and if you say, if you lived in Florida, you absolutely were stuck with watching that team weekly as your opener, or Tampa Bay. But it's like, and I read one of the quotes where they said, Tony won't run anything on Sunday because he doesn't want to interfere with his work that he does with the fucking Jaguars. I'm like, what is it? Please don't tell me he's the quarterback coach.
No, he's the what's the title? Is it GM? What's the title?
Yeah, it's something that you know what? If there's anybody that's on the headphones during the game going, am I the only one that sees they're playing a zone?
Drilling into this article, into the full explanation of Meltzer's tweet. It doesn't explain, by the way, any projected how to account for any projected expenses here. But in this, what I learned about
but look at this. So in 2023, the total estimated expenses were around 188 million. What are they getting for the year?
This,
aren't they?
No, because the deal is for 25, 26, 27. So I don't know their revenue.
So if they lost that much,
and this assumption here, this is it, the 188 million times 5 years. You're assuming the same expenditures year over year, and that's not necessarily going to happen. So what we're reading here, if anyone's listening, I'm looking at we have up on the screen the article. And is this the Observer, Steve? I want to be able to give credit to whoever went through all this calculating and accounting here.
Yeah, but it's like reading fucking Project 2025.
Tony's the Chief Football Strategy Officer, by the way. Can we throw a more confusing term in there?
You're doing a hell of a job, Tony. Maybe you take that high priced quarterback you got that keeps throwing interceptions and maybe give him the old bag treatment.
It'd be great if instead of Gatorade at the end of the game.
He ain't at Clemson no more.
But anyway, I just it was jarring to me when I saw the initial tweet. I was like, how could this be? And I think it was a lot of people's reactions. And when I drilled into the story, I don't know how you project. And then with the point one comes out after this announcement, how do you even?
Unless the deal is somehow being manipulated by BlackRock, I'm not sold. So,
I mean, and if you're Warner Brothers, your revenue stream, your biggest revenue stream is going to come from your advertising, right? Because they're no longer a participant. AEW isn't in the advertising.
Does that mean that we're going to lose the picture in a picture? They're actually going, yeah, that'll be gone. because if they got their advertising, they're not splitting the screen with that shit.
Yeah,
They'll be taking their hard 245s out of the middle of that fucking show.
Yeah, they're not going to preserve the integrity of the.
And what the fuck are those bouncing balls going to do for 245 on a live taping? They can't grab a hold.
Let each other. What's going to be going on in the arena?
Yeah, put a bag on their head. Bag spot. Commercial break.
245. You're going to come back to a corpse.
Depends on how hard you hold it around your own head.
You suffocate yourself.
I'm waiting for the next generation of that spot's going to be the guy's going to put the bag around the guy's head, and the guy that's being asphyxiated is going to put duct tape around his neck. So, good shit. Good shit's like when that's from X-Pac. Good shit, man. Good shit.
Well, if they're going to continue that down that path, their talent may want to invest in some MANDO, being the proximity and the what's in the bag. Throw a jock strap in the bag and hold it over someone's head maybe would be an effective move. Guys, MANDO, we've been talking about this for how long? A year now? That I'm excited to announce yet another product from MANDO. Kev, how do you deodorize your balls, right? Questions that we have creams, we have wipes. I mean, you spend some time in the shower, but we have to do more than this, right? We need a deodorant for the body. And MANDO's spray deodorant is here. Finally, Kevin. You can spray yourself in all those special regions with MANDO. Listen, they've given us plenty of ways to do it with their stick, with their creams, with their wipes. Kevin even figured a way to gimmick the shoes with the wipes. Now you just spray right into it, Kev. It's proven to control odor for 72 hours. It's not going to irritate your sensitive areas at all. And it's a 360-degree spray. You can turn the can in any direction, and you get the same stream. So the balls, the taint, the whole gimmick down there, you're good. You just got to spray it, and it continues to work. Guys, shopmando.com is where the action happens. And every MANDO product I've ever tried, I've loved. And the spray is so convenient and quick now. Grab it, spray. It's seconds. And it's the same effective, great-smelling, long-lasting effect that MANDO has given you. And you can get right up in there. I don't mind telling you, going right underneath, all right? You don't have to rub it, guys. We don't have to worry about the fingers, cleaning the hands afterwards. Dries very quickly, too, and it goes on clear. So you have nothing to worry about. Works upside down, too. The can can hit the undercarriage, balls, taint, the whole gimmick. Listen, shopmando.com, shopmando.com. You're going to use the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at shopmando.com, and new customers are getting $5 off their starter pack with that exclusive code if you go to that link, shopmando.com, code KLIQ. Thank you guys so very much. It's perfect for new customers, by the way, the starter pack. If you're not sure how to use it, if you're going to like it, you get the solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like a mini body wash or deodorant wipe, all right? Free shipping also, by the way. Luckily, you have a discount code now, right? And it's going to get you hooked on your favorite smelling whole body deodorant, the best one on the market, okay? And that $5 off the starter pack equates to about 40% off your starter pack as a whole. Use the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at shopmando.com. It's time to smell better naked. Your partner will thank you. And we thank you, Mando, for still being here with us.
No, my wife and I were in the hotel room during the storm, and we were watching TV, and a MANDO commercial came out. She goes, "Oh, that's your stuff."
That's our stuff. That's right.
I said, "Yep," because I mean they're very distinct when those products sit on the counter.
Yeah, I love when that happens. When we break something new and they start on the podcast and then they're on TV. I feel like it feels like your kids made it a little bit.
I see Blue Chew on the TV now.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of our stuff makes it. But listen, as bad as Florida was, Kev, in this past week because of the storm. At least it wasn't Detroit. Would have been so much worse.
You know, this is my whole thing. People say, you know, why aren't you voting for Trump? Why? I can't believe you're going to vote for Harris. Okay, just on the simple fact that a human being who's trying to get votes at a campaign stop is trying to come across as to being the person that you should choose. If you haven't made up your mind at this point, and he stands in front of a podium which clearly has the word Detroit on it, and he says that if you vote for Kamala, every city will be like Detroit. Can we get a?
Yeah, let's hear some audio. This is real, guys. This isn't AI.
Talking about today is high on her list. The whole country is going to be like, you want to know the truth? It'll be like Detroit. Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president. You're going to have a mess on your hands.
He's speaking in front of the Detroit Economic Club.
Yeah.
By the way.
So in other words, one of the few major metropolitan areas, especially in that region, that has gained manufacturing jobs, has increased in population. Economically, the city is like, put it this way, you know a city is growing is when you go down there during a business week and you can't find parking. That's when you know a city, like, you used to be able to go down to Detroit and, I mean, you could park in front of whatever the fuck you wanted to. You want to get sushi? I'll park right fucking in front of it.
Pull right up to that the former plant right there with no windows.
I'm just gonna put my truck in center field for the game. So Tigers, unfortunately, the Tigers didn't beat Cleveland, but we were in the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. Lions are doing very well. The fever in Detroit is unbelievable sports-wise. People, I mean, we had 500,000 people for the NFL draft. I mean, it's like, if you were to look, especially if you grew up there and you were there when it was I think number 4 in the country, maybe number 5 when I was a youth in population of cities. We used to be in front of Philadelphia. And it was then the blight of what Detroit became. It was horrible. I'd come home, man. And everybody moved north, and everybody just they got the hell out of Detroit. And there were the stickers on the back of people's cars. The last one out of Michigan, turn off the lights and everything else. And for it to rebound like it has, and to have Donald Trump come, it just shows you how out of touch he is on so many levels. Because you know what? There's probably not a whole lot of billionaire friends of his. The Illiches, the cat that owns the Cavaliers. They put it that guy. I don't know what his name is.
But wasn't this a perfect 1970s heel moment for Trump? Like when Ivan Koloff would take the mic and talk about, run down the city
I think the only thing missing was a hak tour,
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
But it so reminded me.
Fuck Detroit. You're a piece of shit. You're a fucking bad. Nash is from Detroit. Of course he is. It's Scott Hall, that motherfucker.
Who's the big jabroni driving us?
I'm not a jabroni chic. Of course not. Detroit Economic Club.
So, all right. So here's the question that any civilized, cogent well-adjusted human asks themselves, did he forget where he was? It's the only explanation. He's not that dumb that he would walk out.
If I was on his campaign, I would just walk up to him. I'd pull him aside and go, "Dude, you're done. Like this is done. This is done. We're wasting our time here. Maybe we can go to Flint and get 4 people to vote for you there before this fucking hits the news."
So they should have done what they did to Biden right after the first debate. You're done.
Yeah, you're done.
You're done. Throw JD out there, right?
Jeez, man.
Some feedback.
So,
yeah.
If my vote was up in the air, it's no longer. You can't diss my city, dog.
Yeah. Kev, it's been very clear from the last 2.5 years that you were on the fence.
Right.
With where you were going to go with this.
Well, it was 2 things. It was the fact that, I mean, I was borderline when I heard that he was going to imprison Jimmy Kimmel, Colbert, Seth Meyers, when he was going to imprison them. Right. I mean, that kind of put me on the, cause I'm a Kimmel guy.
Well, he's going after the most dangerous, the most present threats to democracy. Clearly, well, he's going to exonerate. He's going to pardon those charged with January 6th crimes. In their place, maybe the same cell, they could do a prisoner exchange, maybe like we do overseas. We put Kimmel in.
Like a Homeland episode.
Yeah. Take the guy that took a dump on Pelosi's desk out and put Jimmy Kimmel in
prison. Yeah.
Seems like makes sense.
That would definitely make me want to vote for that cat.
Brad Peterson was watching and listening last week, and he said, "Man, I wish I could get some stem cell treatment. I'm sure they would probably do wonders for me, but I'll never be able to afford something like that." Kev, is there any talk about this coming down?
No, because I mean the FDA for 10 years we've all been doing TB 500 and 157 with CJC 1295. We've been doing all these different peptides, and they were saying that they don't work and they're for animals only and blah, 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 blah. Then all of a sudden I get an email from my longevity clinic saying the FDA has put a kibosh on any peptide sales going forward. So in other words, all these things that weren't working, that all the bodybuilders and athletes on the planet started taking and were getting incredible results, are now, because it's not under the umbrella of Big Pharma, that it's gone.
Right. Right. But and you don't see in the next 5 years,
no,
or something being able to.
Are you kidding me? Which way are we moving forward?
Well, it's medicine. It's important. It's
yeah, but if one of your daughters gets raped, she has to go term. Like, how are we going in the right direction? Oh, and while we're at it, maybe when she gives birth, we'll make it a C-section. We'll take the umbilical cord and make some stem cells. Like, Jesus, man,
well,
I always thought it ain't up to the states. If it was, that's the same thing as down here with this Amendment fucking 3, and the commercials against recreational cannabis are so ridiculous.
Really? Is this new?
It's going to the ballot. It's going to the ballot.
Okay. Well, yeah, I hadn't seen any.
So yeah, so one of them is a couple are the sheriffs, And the sheriffs are, and you know what? And it may be Amendment 4 because 3 might be one of them's right to choose, one of them's cannabis. I just know that I know them because I'm down here, and I might have one. I might have the, you know, but if it's the cannabis one, you want to vote yes, and if it's pro-choice, you want to vote yes. You don't want to vote no on either of them. But they have this guy, and he's decided he's going to grow some cannabis, and he goes in his backyard and comes out with his pot, not his like marijuana pot, but like a pot that you would use to put dirt in to grow. And there's a guy there, and he says, "Who are you?" And it's a guy in a suit, and he goes, "I'm big business cannabis, and you can't grow." He goes, "I can't grow?" He says, "No." He goes, "Well, then I'm not going to vote." But the when you look up in the state of Florida, it's against the law to have one plant. So if you vote no, you still can't grow. You dumb fuck.
Right. Oh, I think I remember you telling me about.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah. And then you've got sheriffs going, "Please vote yes for this bill, because we're really tired of having cannabis piled in here from the cartel that have fentanyl on it."
Yeah, that's true too. You'd be able to control it.
Yeah, I mean, it's and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're going to make it big business." Yeah. You know what? Because all those handmade cars out there are fucking really selling.
Backyard wrestling was so safe.
Oh yeah, at least I think they didn't even use plastic bags. So
no, they were fluorescent.
But once again, though, you know, the pro-choice, the cannabis is we have to win by 61%.
There it is.
It's not
a super majority.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time. So, and what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
You know?
All right, so Brad, it doesn't look like Kevin would be the guy to ask about this. It doesn't look like stem cells are coming to you unless you're paying for the trip elsewhere.
Yeah.
To get healed, and
there's the best place that I have found is BioAccelerator, and they are in Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
And my next door neighbor went down, and if anybody wants to reach out to me on one of ours, what do we Kliq This or one of those?
Well, you could do the Kliq This one, or he's at Real Kevin Nash. Also, you can go to him direct.
Yeah, but I don't fucking ever look at my shit.
Okay, so send it to us.
Yeah, send it to and then these guys that look at the internet will.
What the hell is the show called here, Steve? It's Kliq This Podcast, is it not? Someone speak to me. Kliq This Podcast, right? Just look up at Kliq This Podcast, and we'll get it to him. So
I feel like I just got out of like the Saigon Hilton. I'm just so fucking fried.
It's been a week. I know. That's why I said it's a testament to the fact that we're here for everybody, and there's no best of sitting in the chamber.
No, we're not.
We've never
guys.
missed a week, have we?
Oh, knock wood.
No. Even through some really harrowing stuff.
Yeah, I figure if we didn't miss the week my son passed on a Wednesday, probably a hurricane hitting Thursday morning we would probably make.
Right.
Only problem I had was power.
Yeah, well, I mean that was the big consideration, obviously.
You know, power and internet.
Correcto.
And I just got a text message, and Mama just said, "We got power."
All right. So maybe a little Netflix tonight. It sounds like.
Well, I'll watch some. I've got some things I got to cut. I didn't watch Bill Maher, So I'll have that to catch up on. I've got an Old Man to catch up on. Anybody watching The Old Man with
The
Jeff
Old
Bridges?
Man.
With Jeff
No.
Bridges? Oh,
What
God.
stream? What
Hulu.
stream is it on? Okay.
Oh, fucking, it's, imagine of a television show that the two main players are Jeff Bridges and Lithgow.
Yeah, no. Hitters, for sure. Lithgow's still rocking and rolling. Good for him. How old is he now, for God's sake?
He's 79, I think. I think he's 70. See, I know that, and Bridges looks good. Bridges is, I think, 73, 5.
So they're both in it. Why do they call it Old Man? I'm kidding. So what's give me a quick, a brief cocktail napkin length
Okay.
pitch to decide whether this goes on or not.
You and I'll say this and you'll know exactly who this person is. My wife had no idea. So there's a character in this series played by Joel Grey.
Of course.
Who won an Oscar for Cabaret.
Cabaret.
With that was with Minnelli, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
God, what was that, like 72?
Yeah, it was actually directed by Bob Fosse, the choreographer. Yeah. The film version was.
And anybody that doesn't know who Bob Fosse is, that Roy Scheider did all that jazz.
All that jazz he played.
And I remember they had that scene where they did the open heart surgery and they cracked the guy's chest open. God, that scarred me. Because when I was on my dad's casket, I reached down. I could feel where they did the autopsy. I could feel where they sewed him back together. And I was just like, oh. And then later on in life, I saw that cracking that fucking chest open. I was just like, oh, fuck.
I have a cool. I'll grab it on the break.
But so anyway, so Joel Grey is a character. And you think that Jeff Bridges is the Old Man, and it's a really cool story that goes back and forth. And Lithgow and Bridges have been operatives their whole lives. They've known each other, and Bridges was in Afghanistan. He was working with the rebels. Ended up taking this Taliban leader's wife. With him, and they had a life together, and I won't go into anything more because I'll ruin it. Okay. I think it's absolutely watchable, but it's just that it ends up you think that the Old Man is Bridges, but as it goes on, you realize that the Old Man is Joel Grey. So,
it may be worth a watch.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth a watch because there's very few television shows that my wife will be like, "Is there another Old Man on?" I'll be like, "Oh wow, she's actually." It's like it's like Homeland. Like she enjoyed Homeland. Good character. The dialogue and the acting is just amazing.
Well, yeah. I mean,
does anybody? How about Penguin? Have you watched that at all?
All right, I haven't yet, but I will probably jump in. I did see a time lapse of what's his name getting the makeup put on.
Dude, there was one scene where he's going to go into like the mob house, and he looks back into the car window to look at himself before he goes in, and he gives that smile. You can see Colin Farrell for a split second in that smile in his eyes, and that's the only. And they not only is he in prosthetics, but he's also got this like thing that he's got on his leg that gives him this horrific limp. I mean, and it's shot cool.
Yeah, it looks cool, dark and interesting.
I've watched the first two, and I'll definitely. I think there's 8 episodes. It's on HBO.
It's going to be tough
which is Max, which will soon be a place for you to watch AEW, because I think that's such a crossover demographic between Max and AEW
The network that brought you
plastic bag.
The Sopranos and
Yeah. Is now bringing you
Band of Brothers.
They're trying to do a 2-for-1 package where you can not only can you watch AEW, but it's going to be like when they do the Hard Knocks, but it's just going to be every fucking episode's going to be that week of the Hard Knocks that the Jaguars went through.
Right.
So
I'd watch that.
I'm pretty sure the Jaguars got pounded in like London today by the Bears.
I'll never bet an overseas game, just because of the variable of the travel. Would you? I mean,
no. I don't know if these guys are used to smoking hash.
Right. What city? What was it? Germany? Where was that?
No, I was fucking London.
Was it London?
We scored that. We scored. I think we scored the hash in Germany, but we didn't smoke it till we were in London. That's one of my God. It was such a when we were smoking and we were getting ready to smoke in that fucking alleyway, and that Bobby came around that corner.
And this is the one that it disappeared somehow.
Scott brushed it off. This
is it. Tell the story.
All right, so we scored some hash, and we went into like a little fuck. I didn't know you were leaving me.
Here. I have headphones on. I could hear the story.
We went into like a little tobacco shop and got a pipe with a screen in it, so we would at least kind of look like we might be smoking Bork and Riff, and so you gotta if you've ever seen hash comes and it looks like it's like almost like this, looks like a pencil, it's kind of like this, and we had like Lebanese blonde, so you have to take a lighter and you have to light the end of it and it'll catch on fire, then you blow it out, and then you take it and you crumble it. And then the crumblings are what you put in the fucking pipe to smoke. So we're getting ready to like Scott's burning it, and he's got he's setting it. And we're just gonna push it in the pipe now. About that time, a Bobby came around the corner. He goes, "What are you fucking doing there? You fucking pissing?" Because Scott immediately, when he saw peripherally saw him, turned and act like he was zipping his pants up. And so now the cop's coming over, and as he's coming over, he's coming right to Scott. So he walks by me, and this is fucking 94 maybe. Mm. And this is before the world was like, had cameras everywhere. And I'm thinking like, fuck man, like if he grabs Scott, because Scott's got the rest of the shit in his pocket. If he grabs Scott, like I guess I'm gonna have to clip this fucker. Like and I mean I'm looking like I'm looking at his C123, like where I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna drill him in his fucking cervical.
And we don't advocate.
No.
The assault on law enforcement.
Because if I would have
nothing to do with January 6th.
If we would have been smart enough to like stopped and picked up 3 apples and they had them in a plastic bag, I could have dropped those apples and had that bag over that son of a bitch's head in no time. I mean, boom, out he goes. But the guy just kind of just looked at us and he said, "Fuck off," and told us. So we did this. Oh fuck. So we went back and we were staying there was a Holiday Inn in like Kensington area. And we just went out to the park and sat and smoked. We smoked out there and came back in. But it was just like.
I remember that one of you guys, or maybe all of you guys told me this on one of the kayfabe shows. And it was one of the better stories.
The best one is though we went to Royal Albert Hall, and so this was the first time we smoked in London on this trip, and I kept telling them, man, wait. And they wanted to smoke that day when we got into London. And there was a 3-story like fitness place we used to train at back then. But man, the BO in this place was so fucking pungent. I mean, fuck, it was such a
Really?
I mean, Scott used to use the term beefing because it smelled like fucking hot dog water. You know, the whole gym smelled like they washed it down in hot dog water. So you'd walk in there and fucking gag. And so we got our workout, and we came back. We're like, there's a smoke before we go to the arena. And I said, nah, man. I said, I just got a feeling they're going to piss us. We walked in, and there were the fucking white coats. We were like, whoa.
Wow.
So we all fucking ran over there, got in line, and pissed. And
Proudly pissed.
Like fucking champs. And we had waited with this hash for we'd had it like 6 days. And, but that's how fucking stringent this test was. It wasn't a fucking joke. Yeah. And it was like a $1,500 fine. And then you were like fucking suspended after 2 or 3. I forget what it was, but I know that like $1,500 back then, and you're working fucking Royal Albert Hall for free.
Yeah.
So if you're on the top of the card.
How do you manage, Kevin, and I'm sure this is the question I asked you and Scott and Sean on the kayfabe DVDs. How do you, when you're in another country, line up extracurricular activities? Anything.
Well, Scott, I lived in Germany. Scott went to high school in Germany. So Scott and I both know you just go to a fucking train station and find a Rasta and fucking just buy it right there. But we actually found there was some guys that were setting up. Where were we at? I think we did a couple of shows in Germany, but I think Scott talked to the guy in Hamburg. I think we got it in Hamburg. And we still had like several shots, in Germany. And then we didn't take a ferry either. So we must have flown, which is unusual. Usually we didn't do that, but we broke that one up and
flew to where? So you had a shot in Germany.
We had a couple. We had like Salisbury. We did Austria. We did Germany, and then we went over to the UK and finished that tour up. And usually we didn't do that. We might have got on a fucking ferry, and I don't remember it. But we ended up over, and we didn't just do London. Mm-hmm. London was just the first one when we got in.
Right.
Real Albert. I don't think we did Birmingham, Sheffield. Oh, God, where else? Whatever. Okay.
Wouldn't it have been great back then, Kev, if the stuff was just so, because you got to find a Rasta in the train station. If everything was accessible as it is now through companies like Get Blitzed, who delivers you legal hemp-derived products like their THC sip and syrup, their new seltzer that I'm very much in love with. I'm going to have another one of Kev's Key Lime tonight for everybody. What the hell am I talking about? I'm talking about what Mickey Ray Sinatra and Courtney and their Get Blitzed Lit Aid delivers. It's nano-infused, Delta-9, THC. It's the sound of heaven right there. We've all tried the Delta-9 sip and syrup. This is some super potent stuff like THC on steroids. It's syrup. You mix it into any beverage like a tea or a white soda with as little as a teaspoon. Fast onset, 5 to 15 minutes, because nano-infused means it goes right to your bloodstream, bypassing the breakdown in the liver, and it works like alcohol. It is a tolerance killer. This is not gas station Delta-8 bullshit. This is the real deal. THC, Delta-9, holla! The THC that you get from marijuana. Now listen, if you're in Maryland, go to a Stay Lit smoke shop. Go in. For the rest of us, it's legal to ship right from the Get Blitzed website to most of the 50 states without a med card as long as you're over 21. And right now you can save 15% by entering the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at checkout if you go to get-blitzed.com. But the best thing, the thing I'm most excited about, is this special pre-sale giveaway, the soft launch, the 11 soft launch of the Get Blitzed Kliq This seltzers. Here's how you do it. If you're ordering 2 bottles of the Get Blitzed Sippin' Syrup, then you get 1 limited edition pre-sale giveaway with this limited edition logo. The logo is changing. For orders over $200, you're going to get 2 cans, 1 in each flavor: Kev's Key Lime and Sean's Blue Raz Lemonade. Be sure to specify during your checkout in the notes if you want the Key Lime or the Blue Raz Lemonade. Once again, get-blitzed.com with the special promo code KLIQ at checkout. And if you're getting 2 bottles or more, let them know which kind of pre-mixed seltzers you want. They're tremendous. A very chill vibe with those seltzers, guys. Drink responsibly, please. We encourage you. Kev, I wanted to show you before you mentioned Bob Fosse. Now, my wife, of course, a woman of the theater, the musical theater, when we were, I think this was probably before we were married, I wanted to get her a cool piece of memorabilia for Christmas or her birthday or something. And I didn't want like a signed poster of Fosse or whatever. So I went on the hunt, and I was able to find on the Bob Fosse letterhead a rejection letter from Bob Fosse to a playwright telling him that he didn't want to produce his play, signed by Bob. You can still smell the Carlton cigarettes probably if you put your nose to it. Right there with his old New York City address.
Sweet.
Yes. Nice piece of memorabilia.
Very
that was
sweet.
tucked away in a folder, buried in something on a shelf that no one has looked at in the 20 years since it was probably purchased.
It's the thought.
It is the thought.
Chris Blumpstead won the Classic Olympia yesterday.
What the hell are you talking about?
The Mr. Olympia bodybuilding contest
Oh,
was yesterday.
bodybuilding.
So he won. Chris Blumpstead, who's his 6th straight Classic win. So
I don't understand it. Is it the body we're looking at, or is it the posing technique? Is it both?
For him, it's everything. He's
is
really.
It his teeth? He has very nice teeth.
No, he's incredible. I mean, and it's, you know. Now the guy that won the Open is just a monster. Samson, I think it's Dado, something like that. But he's a British cat, and he's a big Jack Black. I thought he looked great last year. I thought Hottie should have won last year. But yeah.
So the choice was: are you voting for the black guy or
you're
the
voting
white
for the
guy?
You're voting for the black guy or the Iranian guy to be Mr. Olympia.
More feedback, Kev. Free State Revolution says, great show, guys. Praying for you, Kev, as this next hurricane comes through. After the talk about Bud Dry, something I drank in my high school days, me as well, I was reminded of the controversial Zima. Did you ever experience the Zima? Do you remember Zima?
I remember Zima.
It was a malt beverage, but very, like...
It was clear.
Soft. Yeah, it was clear with the white, with the blue and white.
But when
label.
you poured it, it was clear.
Yeah, it was clear.
Yeah,
but it was something unlike anything else. I don't know how to describe it to anyone who had. They're calling it a citrus beverage. That's the first time I'm seing that.
I
don't know why. It's
I would say it was kind of the Fresca of malt beverages.
It's unable to pin down exactly what the hell's going on in its makeup. Kind of like Paula Abdul's nationality. It's very hard. But I did try some Zima. It was popular with the chicks, I want to say. If I can just be crass with that. I think it was at the bar. I don't think you could stand and hold a Zima. As a 6'10"
I think you could if you were smoking a Newport. At that point, it might have been a cool,
maybe cool,
cool filter king.
What did your dad smoke? Do you remember? The unfiltered, didn't he?
Philip Morris, yeah.
Yeah, that was heavy.
Philip
shit.
Morris in a crush-proof box.
Did your mom smoke too?
She like smoked True Blues, but I never saw her inhale. She went like,
just to be cool.
Well, that's just what they did.
Do you remember the filter in the True Blues? It was the plastic filter with the triangular with the circle. In the
circle.
Yeah.
Looked like something from a person, like a video game, like a Target.
What would happen in a bar in the heyday of WWE if you were standing there? Everyone's got brown or green bottles, and you're drinking a Zima. You'd be subject to endless ridicule from Yoko and Taker, right? I mean,
no, because you would do it. They would know it was a rib, so nobody would put it over.
They'd ignore it completely.
Absolutely.
That's great.
I mean, if you want to waste your hard-earned money buying Zimas, you got to watch out though, man. Because a lot of times the fans will fucking see you pounding one of those and send you another one.
Oh, and then you got a table full of Zimas.
Yeah, box yourself in. So
very good. D Hotness McAwesome. I just live where those things don't happen. Works every time. Oh, this is a hurricane talk here. I just live where those things don't happen. Works every time. I know. Some prefer other ways to survive them, but that's how I do it, living in Saskatchewan. A little like the fellow who reached out to you and told you that he wasn't having a hurricane and it was worse in Sarasota or something, right?
Yeah. I've been to Saskatchewan numerous times, and I mean, it's a nice little place to slip in and do a show at the rink there, off that road that goes the distance across. You start at Winnipeg and you just start going north, and you end up in Calgary. But
what was the outermost regions of? Because there's some. I mean, you could go way out there in Canada. What was the outermost region of Canada that you guys had to hit?
I think as far as west, like northwest, Edmonton is north of Calgary, if I'm not mistaken. So you would do Calgary, then you would drive north to Edmonton. And it was like 3 hours of just, I don't know what that is, maybe alfalfa. I don't know what the hell that. I remember it when I looked it up on like an almanac. I used to have an almanac on the back of my toilet because it was the same thing as thumbing through your phone to get fucking bullshit facts. Do you remember those almanacs? They'd have like you could look up.
I loved the almanac. Everything
you could look up
people's birth dates to.
Yep. I mean, it was the internet before the internet. It was just paper form, and I remember that Calgary had like 500,000 people in Calgary, and then the Calgary metropolitan area was like 5,009. 509,000 people was what. So there were 9,000 people that lived on the outskirts of the actual city limits. And same with Edmonton.
Where's Brantford? Now, you remember the old... they did TV tapings before you. They were running out of Poughkeepsie, which I understand why you'd be there every 3 weeks, because you're kind of the New York hub, right? Even if you're working nationally. A lot. The talent is in the Northeast a lot. Then they started doing their B-show tapings, All-Star Wrestling, in Brantford, Ontario. Did you ever work Brantford?
Mm-mm.
Always wondered why the hell that was.
We did Kitchener, Ontario. That was a rink. We did TVs there.
They were all those ice rinks, right? Those freezing fucking plywood they would put down.
Yeah, they put him down the night before, so when you took that first bump, and it was the Yoko ring, so it was like landing on cement.
Right. It was probably softer outside on the ice than.
I was thinking the other, like during this hurricane, and like there were nights. I remember there was a night when something happened. I don't know if it was snow, but like people like got kind of trapped, and like the girls that used to get us rooms, like they didn't end up being on the road, so we got to the jetport, and there was like scarce rooms. And I remember it was Robbie and Scotty Steiner, me, Scott, and Shawn Michaels, and Marty Giannetti, all in one room with 2 double beds.
Beefing.
I mean, and imagine 6 fucking dudes. Ugh.
When you guys would have to, we've talked about this on the air a lot. You were responsible for your lodging, your car rentals. You were on your own. There's no internet. You're not booking anything in advance. You're getting into a city and you're going to the hotel that you remember from last time, or one of the other boys says, "Oh, there's a place down the road," or whatever. What did you look for in a place? Was it just anything with a bed, or did you want like proximity to a gym or a gym in the hotel? What was your list?
There was always, like once you made a town, then you kind of knew where the gym, tanning bed, food. You know, the jetport was kind of the hub in Newark. It's actually
it was the Holiday Inn, right? It was
it's actually it was Elizabeth. So you had Lookers, you had Lookers Diner, where you could get your breakfast. Then you had Belleville Gold's Gym through Newark. You drive through Newark on 9 to get there. So you get your workout in at Gold's.
You practically lived up here, man. Like know all the roads.
Oh yeah, no, I forget where it was not too long ago, and I was with somebody. They weren't one of the boys, and I was like, no, go here and here, here, and they're just like, how the fuck do you know this? I'm like, I don't know. I've been up here 50 times, like
50 times a year for Vince.
That's what I said. I mean, you know, I can't even count how many times I've been in New York City in my life. For like somebody that doesn't, like, never lived in the Northeast, and Philly and Newark. God, I mean.
Well, I mean, the company you worked, this was their headquarters, this whole area. You were at the I think I saw you on TV on the Netflix documentary. You were at the opening of the New York restaurant, right? Were you at the opening for that when they did the? I forget what it was called.
I know I was. I had shoulder. Have my shoulder operated on, or my neck? No, mine was I had my neck operated on. Billy Gunn was there. His was shoulder, because we would go there at night, and I do a little stand up, you know.
I was just going to ask, did the boys go? I think it was called WWE New York, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or WWF New York. Would you literally go there after the Garden?
No. You would go there because you were hurt and you were put on. That was like your.
You were assigned.
Yes.
Oh.
You weren't fucking.
You were hanging there.
No, this is once now because of us, you got guaranteed money. You ain't sitting at home.
Right.
You're going to be in New York with Chris Angel.
Kev, why don't you head to the restaurant and.
Chris Angel was the in-house magician.
I think they mentioned that in the documentary.
I remember at one point he was in the gift shop of the restaurant, hung by his ankles upside down in some kind of a tank in water. Like that was.
listen, you got to do something, right?
Yeah.
I actually had to go into a tank of water for a voice for an ADR for a movie called, I think it was called Salt. It was with Angelina Jolie. It was a espionage film. She was kind of an ass-kicking, and a Russian is tied to a rock, chained to a rock, and dropped in the water. And the shot is from overhead, and it's him slowly descending under the water while he's screaming and fighting to breathe. So there's only one way to get this authentic audio, of course. That's hire a schmuck like me, who's going to go in to a large fish tank where they put a condom over the microphone, handheld mic, and laid it in the bottom of the tank. And I took my shirt off and leaned over into the tank and had to scream underwater and die. Several takes. I was amused every time when I came up and someone went, it's sounding more like an exertion of air. It should actually sound like you're taking water in. I said, there's only one way for that to happen.
Yeah, that's to take in water, you dumb bitch.
Exactly.
It'd be a lot more realistic if you actually were to drown.
The things we do for love, Kevin. CED, ex-CED, says, dang, in 2002, WWE had the opportunity to have Kevin Nash versus Kane. Just for even the stare down would be worth it. Now, I know Kevin is taller, but out of Sid, Taker, and Kane, I think Kane would have matched up best with Nash, as he had a little bit of height on Sid and Taker.
Not really.
I don't know. How tall is Mark now?
Mark, I think they were all 6'8".
Legit. Okay, so
Yeah.
And now Sid, you were taller than Sid though too.
Yeah, I was taller than all of them.
Yeah.
Of all the people that didn't have giantism, I was the tallest. If you
Take
had
giantism out of the equation,
yeah.
Kevin.
Kali, I wasn't taller than Kali. I wasn't taller than...
In the land of the one-eyed man.
Yeah.
Robin ST, it may be nostalgic to a lot of us older fans, but pretty much no one who has worked in the WWF during the tenure of that blue cage had anything nice to say about it. Getting it built and taken down always looked like a logistical pain in the ass, too. I remember they'd run extra long video packages and cut to pre-taped backstage promos on those live shows while the crew was out there doing it. I think you said last week you hated the blue cage.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, just the sheer weight of that thing was like working on the Empire State Building. That thing was heavy as fuck.
Yeah. Sometimes referred to as the Bundy cage, right? I don't know about the boys, but
No, we just called it the fucking blue cage.
The big blue piece.
It was just it wasn't anything. It was just the cage. We had, you had a cage match. I went around the loop with Bret. We did probably 20 to 30 of those.
In the blue?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I was never in a cage until I came back to Hell in a Cell. Was I in a cage that was fence at WWE?
Speaking of Bret, Cull 21 Cull 21 says, it's great that Nash has such respect for Bret and Sean. It must have been difficult for him at times. Both helped make him a main event player, but absolutely despised each other. Nash should have gotten them together and said, guys, it's a work. You two guys are the top talents of this era. Go make money together and have great 3,967 star matches. Would you have done that?
Oh, God. You know what? Thanks. I never thought of that. Like to sit down and talk to either one of those guys? Especially the guy that was in my car every day?
Well, no, I mean to be peacemaker. I know you talk to both of them, but
don't you have to have one of them that's willing to have the dialogue? So if the guy that I'm driving with every day in my car is saying, fuck him, well, you know what? Maybe I'll get Bret aboard. Oh, fuck, man. Come on. What world does this guy live in? The unicorn vagina land? Like, fuck, man. It's a work.
Well, but because I understand why he's asking, because you have that unique perspective where these guys took this shit so seriously, and you were like, you would have been the guy to be like,
okay, so
smack him in the back of the head a little bit, like the Papa.
I pretty much was the guy. Like Bret dropped the belt to the Backlund. I got the belt for a year. I dropped it to Bret to drop back to Sean. Like they still had to work against each other. Bret still dropped the belt to Sean.
Mm.
I mean, WrestleMania 12 was a great match.
Guys, if you want to be part of the live audience, like our friends here tonight watching live, and you don't want to wait for every Monday morning at 6 a.m., you could go to Kevin Gilbolt sending a little love, saying, "Big man, glad you're safe," by the way. Our
Thanks,
friends
man.
here in the house. Go to KliqThisTV.com. You can sign up and become part of the premium package, the 11 Soft Club, and you'll be here. You have access to us. Be part of the family. Every month. EP says, Cal Ripken of podcasts. Good shit, fellas. I think that's a compliment. I'm not a big baseball fan, but I know the name
I
Cal
think it's
Ripken.
because we don't miss.
Right. And we have balls.
No, Ripken beat Garrick's Iron Man thing.
Okay.
Most consecutive games.
Right. There it is. Thank you for that. EP, you're correct. We are the goddamn Cal Ripken. And I'll repeat that.
I'll never forget that as long as I live. That was something that, because when Ripken beat Garrick's record, they put him on a car and drove him around the outfield. Like they just,
really?
And they didn't say a word on ESPN or whatever. I think it was ESPN. Nobody said anything. They just let the moment happen.
That's great.
And then later on, when Sean did the deal where he lost his smile and he got kicked by Owen,
right.
The boys came out, and when we laid it out to him, and Paul and I basically put that all together because everybody else was out of their minds, but we kind of put that thing together, and
there it is.
Yeah,
a still of him in the Corvette. Kev?
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember it being a Corvette though, but I remember it being a convertible.
Very good. Kev, Dear Sexy. This is, of course, everyone remembers the Dear Abby column. But what if these were letters to Kevin Nash and not Abby? Okay, and these are actual from the archives, and we'll see what Kevin has to say, what advice he can give. By the way, this Dear Sexy is brought to us by Magic Spoon, Kevin. Now, Magic Spoon, you know it from cereal. I guarantee you know it from cereal. I mean, who didn't love cereal as a kid? I ate cereal like crazy. As an adult, I just don't want the sugar, and I don't want it for my kids either, all the sugar that comes with it. Doesn't give me the protein I need, but then I found Magic Spoon, okay? A nostalgically delicious cereal that tastes just like my childhood favorites, okay? Let's just say the flavors are deliberately reminiscent of the things that I remember from my childhood, okay? But without the sugar and a ton of protein. If you're already a Magic Spoon fan from the cereal, good, first of all. And I have big news. Magic Spoon has turned their super popular cereal into a high-protein treat that's light, crispy, airy, and tastes just like the classic crunchy cereal bars. These brand new treats are so delicious. They've become my favorite snack. Makes a good after gym snack or before gym snack. For God's sakes, let's talk turkey here, okay? Cereal, every serving of Magic Spoon, 13 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, 4 grams of net carbs, so you can feel good about what you're eating. The most popular flavors, by the way, of cereal, fruity and cocoa, okay? And there's so many more flavors to choose from. The treats, brand new, they're crispy, crunchy, and airy, just like I said, and they're an easy way to get 12 grams of protein on the go. And for the first time ever, Magic Spoon treats are available in grocery stores with delicious flavors like marshmallow and chocolatey peanut butter. I love them, Kev. You've been hammering them too. You said, right?
Yes, I've got to order some.
Get that re-up. And Kev, when you do order, I'm going to tell you what you should do. You're going to get $5 off if you go to magicspoon.com KLIQ, or just look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. But if you want that discount, go to magicspoon.com/Kliq KLIQ for $5 off. Magic Spoon, hold on to the dream.
Nice.
I'm going to nail some of that when I get off the air here. Okay, Dear Sexy. First letter says, Dear Sexy, I'm a 24-year-old male who has been in a relationship with a great woman, Haley, for 3 years. She has excellent qualities, a good job. She's super loving and would be a wonderful wife someday. My family loves Haley, but my buddies don't. And it is causing me to have mixed feelings. Some days I love her, but on others I want to break up. And I think of how fantastic our lives would be together. It's weird, because Haley doesn't change her personality. It's totally my issue. I'm scared that if I break up with her, it could be the worst mistake of my life, and I'll regret it. Please give me some guidance and point me in the right direction to find the love I have for her. That's from Sensitive Guy in Milwaukee. If he's listening to his friends only, Kev, I mean...
maybe I'm old school, but unless I'm fucking my friends, that's pretty much a no-brainer on which way I'm going on that fucking deal. Hey, let me dump my girlfriend and hang out with my buddies. What the fuck? Dude.
Let me pull out before I'm done and run and catch the game.
Yeah.
With Eric.
And the guy's probably got 3 high school buddies that he's hanging around still. And he doesn't realize that as you get older, man, like your friends, you got about 4 friends that continue through. I'm blessed though, man. The amount of people that text me to check on me, I was just like, wow, man, that's very kind. And it was like Hulk and I haven't talked that much in a while, and it was just, when it comes down to it, it's just, you forget what a significant part of your life you spent with, like what I spent with Hulk, and like going to New York where nobody wanted us, and and him going out there and just crushing it with Rock. It was just like, there was just some unbelievable moments that we had at the NWO, like things that just without him, a lot of these things just never come to fruition. And the fact is, I was a huge mark, and I've said it numerous times. I watched I went to the WWE a show at Joe Louis when I had came back from fucking myself up playing ball, and I watched Hulk, and I was just like, man, like the fucking place like went berserk, or as Pat would say, banana. They went banana over the Hulkster, and
listen, but as good of friends as you've made in the business, if you're talking to Sensitive Guy Milwaukee, you don't give up Poontang for that, right?
No.
Right. Exactly. That next letter, Dear Sexy. All right, this is a good
I think the key in life is kind of that, to have the conversation. Say, yeah, it's going to be my wife and I are going to have our 38th anniversary. It's not like, hey, this is my boy Jimmy. We've been buddies for 35 years. Oh, good for you.
What accent is that? Where are we from here geographically? Is it Saskatchewan? No, what's the city?
Yeah.
What's the go-to make fun of city that we talked about on the air?
Sheboygan. That's a Sheboygan. That's a Sheboygan anti-hurricane accent.
Very good. Dear Sexy, I am a 17-year-old happily married girl, but I have a problem. It's
hot in Mississippi.
Close. I'll tell you the signature when I get to it. Good guess, though. My 15-year-old cousin Raylene likes my husband. She calls his cell phone at all hours of the night, and last week she sent him a letter telling him I was cheating on him, a lie, and that when he decides to get a divorce from me, if he wants a real woman, to give her a call. Raylene has always had a thing for older men, but this time she has gone too far. I know my husband loves me and would never believe her, but I'm not sure how to tell my cousin to stop. I don't want to be mean, but she can't have them. That's from Furious in Alabama. Steve, just start cutting this clip. Just start right now assembling it for a 10-minute upload. Go ahead, Kev.
I know. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how old the husband is, but he
11.
Yeah, no, he's like
older men. Older
Mr. Statutory Rapist. Number one is like kids shouldn't marry kids. Kids shouldn't have kids. You're fucking 17 years old and
your 15-year-old cousin is moving in on your action.
If you vote for Trump, that's exactly what's going to happen. The entire world's going to be white trash, Alabama.
Very good. This would be a fine time to remind everybody about Blue Chew, our oldest and most steadfast.
I'm sure Blue Chew wants to rub off that fucking deliver. When we play banjo during the Blue Chew commercial.
They say first impressions are important. How about lasting impressions, guys? That's where Blue Chew comes in, okay? Blue Chew helps give men a longer lasting and stronger erection so you can perform at your very best. You don't know what it is? Are you kidding me? You've never listened to this show, then Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. The process to get this is so simple, guys. You go to BlueChew.com, you consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and bang! Once you're approved, you receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA, prepared, shipped directly to your door. Best part, this is all done online, guys. Okay? No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And you take them anytime, day or night. The goal is just to be ready to go when the opportunity arises, if it does. They just want you to have confidence, guys, to perform at your best. So discover your options at BlueChew.com, and we, of course, have that banging special deal for our listeners. You try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code NASH at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code NASH to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for being long and strong with the podcast. Kev, break time? Oh.
I was going to say that people will see other ED supplements that you can get online and that. And the difference between Blue Chew is you can chew it. I promise you do not want to chew a 100 milligram Viagra tablet.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's like, not that I know, but I heard. So this is in your system a lot faster than the rest.
Absolutely, and they're flavored. They taste good, and you have choices. So guys, go check it out. BlueChew.com. Don't forget that promo code.
Blue Chew has been with us for a long time, and I can say that it's made my life a better place to be.
Need a break?
Nah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm good.
Right.
I'm so fucking dehydrated. I pissed this morning, and I was like, oh my god! I was like, what is that smell? I'm like, oh, it's my urine.
Oh, it comes out dark and right.
Ugh. And I mean, I'm pounding. I drank 7 liters of water yesterday.
Oh my god.
So the hotel that we stayed at is my next door neighbor's, and him and his wife were staying there also, and it's on the ocean. And you have to realize this hotel is taking. This is now the 3rd storm that's beaten on this, and it's my buddy Jay's hotel. It's a beachside hotel in Daytona Beach Shores. So we were, he called me and he said, what are you doing? And I said, I don't know. he said, I said, because I didn't want to put anybody out.
Mm-hmm.
He said, man, he goes, I have one suite left on the bottom floor. He said, the elevator's out. He said, so this, you walk in the lobby, you take a left, you go down 2 rooms, you're right there. I said, yeah, but I got my dog. He goes, pet friendly. So it's like, oh, fuck. So we get in there, open it up. It's got a 2-burner stove, a refrigerator, a nice little table with 2 chairs, sink. So I mean, I brought my protein shake. I brought my protein powder down, and I was doing between 40 and 50 grams of protein every 3 hours, and that's basically all I had. And I had some bars that had 16 grams of carbohydrates. I was eating 3 bars a day, and I got home today because I wanted to take a shower before I came down here, and got to do the freezing cold shower routine.
Oh, right.
That's always, but we got there the first night. We cut the air down to like 68 degrees, and Tamara's in a bed, and I'm in a bed. And we're just sitting there, and we just are just looking at the TV, and we just looked over at each other, and we just put our hands like across this little nightstand thing. We just kind of put our hands in each other's, and just kind of looked at each other. And I said, like, and it was just like, ugh, because the mattresses were like those. They were on platforms, and they were those memory foam ones, but stiff. Perfect pillows. It was just like, oh. Then they had a big walk-in shower, hot fucking water. Just like, and this is the first time we've ever done this, because we've, like, if we would have had T with us, like, T would have slept with his mom, it wouldn't have been a problem. But man, like, you're stuck in a hotel. Like, there's nowhere to go, nothing to do. There's no place to get food.
Yeah.
It's
fucked.
Yeah. And I mean, I put some of the like more high dollar select cuts, like the venison and stuff like that we just can't get, that we'd have to order. I put that in the Yeti and put bags of ice on it. But at 4 days, man, if you can't find ice, that Yeti was, I mean, at that point now the meat's starting to thaw. Mm-hmm. Of course, I have no propane, because I wasn't prepared for that. I just thought the last one kind of skirted us. I thought the same thing. I was just like, no, fucker, like, we ain't doing this again.
Yeah.
So, but my buddy Jay came in. That was just, so I don't think he listens to the show, but to fucking salute to fucking a good buddy. I tell you, great. So the last storm, we didn't have to put the hurricane shutters down, and because we were just going to get like 40-mile-an-hour winds. But this one I knew, so we get all of them down, and I told Tamara, I said, let's leave the office hurricane shutters up, because, like I said, like from the office you have an unbelievable view of if you're gonna get like ocean surge. So, and we got a wall around that side of the house, so at least we got kind of a seawall, but it's not going to stop it from going underneath the garages. And so it picked up. I said, fuck it. Let's just put these down. So I put the one down that's facing the ocean. I go to the one on the side of the house, and it's stuck up in the fucking hood. It hasn't been down in so long.
Right.
So I'm like, motherfucker. So because Jay goes back and forth, because Jay has He's got a couple of movie theaters in Fort Myers. He's got a bunch of properties down in Miami. But up here, he's got like a huge mobile home park in Ormond, and he's got a bunch of warehouses up here. So, and he's got the hotel. So, I didn't know if he was there or not because I didn't see the because they had already once power was gone, or once the storm was coming. I thought that they would head south.
Mm-hmm.
But they had moved the cars down and they weren't at the house at that time, so I thought. And then so I went out there, and I'm like, and this is probably the top of this shutter's like 21 feet that I've got to reach, and there's not like knobs on each side of the shutter that stick out. Probably they look like Frankenstein's bolts in his neck. They stick out probably about 3 inches. So I'm like, okay, I've got to get something over that to see if I can jerk this fucking thing down. So I go and I get the pool sweeper, the brush, and I make it as long as I can. And with my reach is 9.3. So with my reach, I find a piece of rope, and I make a little noose type gimmick, and I put it over. I get it on that motherfucker. I pull it, and it cracks the fucking thing off. I'm like, motherfucker. So he comes across the street, and now it's pouring rain sideways. It's starting to get windy, and it's getting cold. And he walks over and he goes, yeah, he said, I don't know if I can help you out or not. He said, but I just want to come over and say it's nice to see that there's still men on this planet. He goes, anybody else would have just said, fuck it. He said, I watched you. He said, it was pretty ingenious. He said, you came up through, he was watching me. He goes like, fuck it. Like, this guy's going to get this. So he's
standing there with his boy across going, he's going to try and pull that bolt. What do you think? $5 snaps off. What do you think?
Well, he had left his wife for his high school buddy, but so he's got the Cadillac, and it's the because this is like his work truck. It's the Escalade that was like an Avalanche that had a pickup bed. So he has that. So then he's got one of those like wide back, like it's called a monster. It's a ladder. So he's like, what if we put a ladder? I said, fuck, Jay. I said, I'm not fucking going. I said, no, I'll go up. I'm like fucking thinking like, and this guy's birthday is like 2 days after mine, so we're both 65 years old. And he's been down for stem cells to the same place I go to. I hooked him up with my people down there, so he's beat to fuck too. So I looked at him, I said, what if you were to go up there and hook vice grips onto it, and then fucking I'll, have the cord on it, then I'll fucking pull the vice, because the vice grips aren't going to fucking. So I'm screaming up to Tam, and Tamara's like cranking it up and then down, and she's going down, I'm jerking it, and it's moving like 2 inches. Again. So I told Jay to get the fuck out of the back of the truck in case this thing, in case the vice grip comes off, this thing's going to come down and beam one of us in the head. So finally, man, I give it the fucking the momentum jerk, and that motherfucker went, and all this fucking shit that was stuck inside that shutter, came down. There was just shit, just debris and stuff that was in it. And it all came down, but fucking Tamara was able to, I watched her fucking wind that fucker all the way down tight. And we looked at each other, man, and we fucking laughed. Like it was like such a fucking, it's a very guy moment. Like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And we were both sopping wet, dude. He had just got done taking an infrared sauna, and his wife was like, "You should probably do a cold plunge. You should probably do a cold plunge." He said, "Fuck, I think I did my cold plunge." So I texted him. I said, "Thanks for coming over and helping me out and shit." And I said, "How good did that fucking shower feel?" He was just like, "Motherfucker." I mean, because it was freezing out. It was only like 72 degrees, but man, that water was fucking cold coming off that ocean.
Mm-hmm. All right, everyone, we're back. Click this, the Kevin Nash podcast. This episode brought to you by our friends at MANSCAPED, the global leader in men's lifestyle and grooming. Every man knows the unbeatable feeling of a fresh barbershop shave. And we've talked about the hedge trimmer, the beard trimmer. We've been around the loop with all the wonderful MANSCAPED products. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Chairman Pro. And the Chairman Pro is in my hands as we speak. It's the electric foil shaver, the game-changing tool that brings the luxury of a professional shave right into your home. Whether you're after that daily, silky smooth finish or prefer to maintain a rugged 5 o'clock shadow, the Chairman Pro electric foil shaver is the go-to for precision style every time. Head over to manscaped.com. Join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. And use that code KLIQ, Kliq, 20% off and free shipping. So I love the angled nature of this. Now here's all the blades, right? And it does move, if you can see what I'm doing there with it. People listening, this is worth the time just to find it on YouTube just for this. So it allows me to get all right. And so there's the light also. So I guess, in the blackout, I was ready to be able to shave. So the contouring is what I want to show you. The head moves. It's probably very loud as I speak. The head moves to contour to my face. Nice wide profile there too. What makes this stand out? It's versatility, precision, and the 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads. Okay? Guys, the skin-safe 4-blade foil gives you the closest, smoothest shave you can possibly get if you're looking to go completely clean. If you're not, you can put the Flex Adjust technology on there too. The pivoting head allows you to get, and it's waterproof. My favorite thing also, waterproof. So you can take this in the shower and you don't have to worry about it. Guys, the Chairman Pro isn't just for daily shaves. It's powerful enough to tackle up to 5-day growth on your face, okay? And 75 minutes of runtime on a single charge. What more do you need to try this? Go get the Chairman Pro right now. Listen to the chairman of the board over here. I wish we could lay some bed of music. Hint, hint, Steve. Listen to the chairman tell you to go get the chairman, okay, at manscaped.com, code KLIQ. 20% off, free shipping. Manscaped. Thank you, Manscaped.
So for those that are curious, if you look at the ad right now on the bottom, below me is one of the Manscaped. And if that's the one, there's one that has like a knob on the bottom of it where you turn it, and it goes from like 0 to 8. Like I put it on 8.
Oh, the beard trim.
Yeah, I put it on 8, and I did it right before this show. I took a shower and trimmed my beard because I was looking like Jeff Bridges in The Old Man. Yeah, that's
the dial.
That's the one that I use, and then the other one was the original one that we got,
yeah.
And that's in another area, and that's the one I use to trim my nose and my ears every day.
Remarkable. Love Manscaped.
There's no reason to be walking around with a Wally Walrus, having some unsightly old man ear hair, that white hair that gets up here in your nose. Everything they've got, unbelievable.
Yeah, they put such work into their products. I love it. And all the I don't want to call it packaging, but the cases, the carrying cases, the travel cases, they spare no expense. No. I mean, you feel like you're holding gold when you get a Manscaped product. When you use
I had my Manscaped bag in the hotel with me.
Yeah, we get the original one, that leather one. That
yeah.
Then we got the they had the leather one. Then it was one that was a softer fabric too.
Kind of was suede-y.
Yeah, suede. That's the word I was looking for. All right, guys, go check it out at manscaped.com. Ask Nash. This is where you get to have access to Kevin Nash. Many people wish they could. I met a fan, Kevin, when I was. It happens to me occasionally. It happens to you on the daily, but me, it's less frequent, but it does happen. I was, I'm at the mall in Staten Island, and I have to go to the bathroom terribly. So I go to the food court bathroom area, and it's a horror show. One stall is closed. 2 stalls are closed, actually. One somebody's in, and the other one, apparently someone took a ketchup bottle or 150 packets of ketchup and sprayed it all over the thing. I thought it was the Nicole Simpson murder scene at first, but it was ketchup in the stall, for God's sakes. So I can't go there. So I leave and I say, all right, let's go. We're going to the movies. I said, let's go to the movies. I'll go to the bathroom there. It's early enough. There's a half-hour previews now, Kevin. I don't know the last time you've been to the movie theater, but it's 30 minutes. 30 minutes of previews I sat through. If the movie time was scheduled for 7:30, the goddamn thing went on. So now so they want candy. So I'm going to get some candy at the counter. Now, we have the membership to this theater, and it's not working for my wife. So now the girl behind the counter is being very helpful. She can't solve it. Now there's a manager involved coming over. I've got to go sit on a toilet. That's all I can think about right now. Like whatever points I'm getting, I don't care. Yeah, Steve, it's the AMC one. So I said, listen, hon, handle this with the manager. I'm going to find a bathroom. I'll meet you in the theater. So now I'm going, and I'm doing that walk. You know, I'm kind of clenching my ass cheeks. I'm doing that walk. And I excuse me, hey, excuse me. I turn, I don't. He's coming at me, but the camera's on, so I know, you know what's coming. Hey, how you doing? Hey, can I ask you a question? I said, thank you for listening to the show. Would you like a picture? That's great. I always want to be nice, doing the picture. And so if I forget his name. If he's listening, I might have hurried the experience. I met his lovely lady who took the picture, and he's going, this guy sits with Kevin Nash, the one who changed it all, the one who started it all. He's trying to explain to his wife who you are and why I'm of any significance. And then I go, where we go for the picture, I go, you don't know my name, do you? He's like, oh, yeah, it's going to come to me. I snap the fucking picture. Let me get out of here. So, yes, fans in Staten Island, Kevin.
But I just want to tell you,
yeah.
that you said you don't know the last time I went to a theater. That's exactly why I won't go to a theater, because I won't shit in public.
Oh.
I will not shit in public.
Well, so you have to sometimes.
No. The only place I shit is the Atlanta airport and the Sky Lounge.
I know, because it goes all the way up, right?
Yes, you're in a fucking you're in a jail cell, and you can and I won't shit in one of those ones that have access to the bottom where somebody with a wide stance. Like I know what concourse, what places to go, where to take my dump. I've had people before tell me, "Sir, you're not flying from this concourse." Yeah, but I got to shit. So just shut up. I'm gonna take a dump, and I'm gonna go eat at P.F. Chang's. So, and then
you have to take another dump.
No,
their food's good. Their food's good.
No, I just get the teriyaki chicken with fucking white rice, and so that's perfect. But I just I see people that are on like an 11-hour flight, and they're like eating like this fucking meal. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my God. Like, and you know when it's going to hit you? When you're in fucking, like,
turbulence?
Passport. That's where it's going to hit you when you're going through some other country's fucking, customs. All of a sudden, if you feel that thing go boom, you're like, oh shit. So.
Doubt Barisha says, Kev, any chance of re-releasing the Nash comic book?
No.
We ever discussed that on the air here? I've seen it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be at man. There was a time. There was a time when I was a huge comic book fan. I wanted to have my own comic, and I could afford to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And we broke even.
Collector's item now? Do you know? Like, what's the market for it? Do you get it? Do you sign it a lot?
Not really.
Wow.
I've seen them here and there. When it came out, we went to Wizard World in Chicago, and we sold a shitload of. I mean, we made the investment back almost that 4 days in Chicago Wizard World.
Wow.
So.
Fernham Schnavitz III Jr. Kev, do you have one specific venue or town that you absolutely hated working in during your entire career? If so, what was the reason?
Well, I think everybody hated working at the Garden because it was such you couldn't. There was no parking, there was no food, there was no coffee. It was just.
I love that coffee story. You can't get coffee in the Garden if you're talent.
You couldn't get a cup of coffee. It was brutal. And I mean, I loved the fans were amazing. And being in, I mean, it was the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as just the experience of being a performer and going at that time before they, and the last time I went was the Survivor Series. I don't know what year it was, but I was supposed to cut a promo, and then Rock went over on his promo, and I got my shit got cut. So I was just like, this is perfect because now because we had to park across the street from the Garden in a parking garage with the marks. And me and Sheamus I saw Sheamus pulling in, and me and Sheamus walked across together, and I'm thinking, boy, this is fucking great.
Oh, right. Yeah. If seen
let's just walk. Let's just walk with somebody. If somebody doesn't like you, shoot you in the fucking head. There's no security, no nothing.
Yeah. So there's no parking facility like the Knicks, the Rangers. There's nowhere for them to put their cars. Wow. They have to provide them black cars or something. There's no way.
Yeah, I'm sure they fucking have some kind of a. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they have service that brings them up to the top and drive. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is, boy, fucking the wrestlers got treated like dog shit.
Yeah.
We used to meet at the Days Inn. I've told this story a million times. Meet at the Days Inn, valet our car at the Days Inn. The EMT truck would come. We'd all pile into the back of the EMT truck, and it would go up the fucking gimmick to the top and drop us all off. And when the show was over, we'd get back in the thing, and then it'd drop us off at the Days Inn, and we'd shoot across the Lincoln Tunnel to the next fucking deal.
So how do you arrange for that? Who the hell who do you know in the New York EMS?
That was arrangement? I think Fink was the one that always hooked all that up. Fink was like fucking MacGyver. That was before there was any kind of map. Like, how it is getting around New York. Fuck, there's 35 bridges.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what bridges to take at what time, you'd call the office and get Howard, and he's like, take the Throg's Neck to the and you'd be like, slow down, I'm writing this, man. I mean, okay.
A native New Yorker? I think he was, right?
Yeah, he must have been. He knew every inch. I remember the first time I went out to Nassau, and it wasn't for the Buckhouse.
The Stampede?
The Stampede.
You weren't going over that night?
But, God, man, I looked at it on the map, and it was like, I looked at it like, I said, what was that, 30 miles tops? Maybe a half-hour drive?
Whoa.
Fuck. 2.5 hours later, I don't know how many times in my life I was in a car that left the Nassau Coliseum, and this, of course, no GPS, no nothing, and all of a sudden it's just like, how do we continually end up at Jones Beach? We're at Jones Beach again. Like, how are we at fucking Jones Beach again?
Errantly at Jones Beach.
Yeah,
Obviously.
just fucking just like we're at Jones Beach.
Yeah, and there's that one road in Jones Beach
Ugh.
if you're unfortunate enough to be there for an event. Landon Timms, longtime fan, Bound for Glory 2005. You were scheduled to face Jeff Jarrett for the NWA title, but pulled out for some reason. Wondering if you remember the reason, and also if you remember the plans for the storyline. Rhino beat Jarrett and dropped it back 2 weeks later.
I think I had like a health scare where I just didn't feel good. I remember going in and having my cardiologist do like a real thorough panel on me. They did the 3D ultrasound. I just didn't feel good.
Mm-hmm. And was there something longer in it? He said plans for the storyline. Was it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I do remember that Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2024, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, do you want to have another hurricane? I mean, do you want to do another one?
Oh, fuck, man. I pray we're done for the year, but I don't have a good feeling about it. So,
what deity will you be praying to for that?
God. I mean, there is no atheists in foxholes.
Customer service never answers the thing. Let us free to breathe in air we're supposed to breathe. The twists and turns you've come to love. Never answers a thing. Yeah, the customer